That should have been the cold open. Damn. Oh.
All right, we lost it. Moving on.
We did. We just had a nice conversation. We were both laughing really hard. And that we didn't record, but that should have been the cold open. So
just trust me, it was really funny.
It was funny. Laughing. 3, 2, 1. Good job. Okay, so welcome to Words Are Hard, a writing and editing podcast. I'm your host, Ramsey, the extrovert in charge of keeping the conversation flowing.
And I'm your other host, Rachel. And I'm here for the words.
How many? This is what episode are we on? 11, and you still can't get your intro?
I got it all the other times.
All right, try that again.
I'm your other host, Rachel, editor, indie author, and English teacher.
And today's episode is all about extinct letters. So, your fun fact for today is sometime during the second millennium BC.
Dang, that's like a whole paragraph.
Yeah, I put in some good stuff here. So, estimated between 1850 and 1700 BC, a group of Semitic-speaking people adapted a subset of Egyptian hieroglyphics to represent the sound of their language. This proto-syntactic, proto-syntactic script is often considered the first alphabetic writing system, where unique symbols stood for a single consonant. Written from right to left and spread by Phoenician maritime merchants. Maritime merchants seems a little redundant. Well, no, it doesn't. Anyways.
You definitely have merchants that were not.
Yes, as I said it sounded, but it's not right. Anyways, Phoenician maritime merchants who occupied part of modern Lebanon, Syria, and Israel. This Constantal?
Where are you?
Right here.
Consonantal.
Okay.
Consonants. That's what that word
consonantal. Is. Okay. This consonantal alphabet, also known as Abjad. I'm going to go with that. Abjad.
Why did you not look up these words before you started?
Don't know. I did it this morning. Also known as Abjad, consisted of 22 symbols, simply enough for ordinary traders to learn and draw, making its use much more accessible and widespread.
Cool.
That was a lot. I know that. Said a lot of words there. I think it's really cool because Egyptian hieroglyphics were one symbol equaled an entire word or phrase or thought, ideological. I don't know how to finish that. Right. A thought. And this was the first time that they started using an individual character to mean a letter and then spelling words out instead of using a symbol to do that entire thing. This is the first time that was being done.
That we know of.
That we know of, yeah. That was recorded and has survived.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I think that's cool. On to the main topic of extinct letters that we have.
These are specifically letters from English.
Okay.
That we used to have that we no longer have in English. Some of these letters do still exist in other languages.
Yes.
Before I get into that, I just thought of, my brain is bouncing. Alphabet. Do you know the etymology of alphabet?
Oh, I did. It was... Oh, it's alpha beta.
Yeah.
It's the two first words.
Letters.
Or the two first letters of the Greek alphabet.
Yeah. I just think that's really funny.
No,
like we're basically just calling it the ABCs, but it's just the ABs.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the keyboard. It's called QWERTY.
Yeah.
Because it's QWERTY for the first row of that. So even on typewriters, they're QWERTY keyboards.
Yeah.
We're lazy when it comes to making stuff up.
Yep. I just think that's really fun. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Old English
mm-hmm.
was originally written in Futhark runes.
Love it.
Sure,
Love
you knew
Futhark
that.
Runes.
But it was Latinized by Christian missionaries in the 6th century, around the 6th century.
And to be specific, Old English would have been written in Younger Futhark. There's a difference between Elder Futhark and Younger Futhark.
Yep.
So Old English would have been written in Younger Futhark.
There you go. So this is kind of where that stealing from Latin started.
Okay.
You can blame it on the Christian missionaries who came over.
Yeah, and this would have been, well, yeah, you have in
Right
there
around the 6th century.
Anglo-Saxons.
Yep. So the Anglo-Saxon letters were adapted or dropped from the alphabet altogether as the language evolved and became more Latinized.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 5 letters
Okay.
that we no longer use in English. The first one that I'm going to start with is maybe the most easily recognized. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends on how much of a language nerd you are, I guess. The thorn
Mm-hmm.
makes the hard TH sound, like in that.
Yes.
It looks,
As opposed to the soft th and with.
yep, which we'll get to with the next letter. It kind of looks like a P
It's
with the stem higher up.
Yeah, it's a vertical line with a half circle kind of right in the center of it that almost looks like a belly
Yeah.
on a sideways stick figure
Yep.
type thing. I love this. This letter is actually goes hand in hand with Thor.
Mm-hmm.
The god Thor. You could stylize writing Thor out by just using the
Oh, just the
thorn.
first letter. That's cool.
Yeah, you could. You could put Thor and that's what that means.
Yeah. It was eventually replaced with the Latinized letter Y, which kind of looked the closest.
Okay.
Which is where you get like ye old bookshop or ye old sweet
ye
shop
old
or whatever.
shoppy.
The Y-E, ye, was pronounced the, because that letter Y was meant to represent a TH sound.
Okay.
So that's where you get that from. It's not actually ye old. It's the
old shop.
Yep.
Shoppy.
Yep.
Okay. I love this letter.
Yeah.
This may be one of my favorite letters, honestly. This one and the next one
Mm-hmm.
might be some of my favorite characters. Modern Icelandic does still use the thorn.
Yep.
And modern Icelandic is the closest spoken language to Old Norse.
Mm-hmm.
Kids or people in Iceland, they can actually still read Old Norse texts. To them, it just sounds like a child speaking, like a preschool language to us. That's what Old Norse sounds to them, but they can still read it and they can still understand it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which I think is awesome. And Duolingo, if somebody on there is listening, get Icelandic on Duolingo because I want to learn Icelandic. I've got Norwegian. I've been learning that for a while, but I really want Icelandic so I can get the Old Norse.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay.
Moving on, staying on topic. The next letter is F, which is the soft TH, like in thistle.
Like in F.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that too.
ETH, F.
Yep. It is represented by like a D that kind of curves on the top, a lowercase d, and then it has a strike through the top of that D.
So it kind of looks like a backwards 6 with like a slash descending, or actually ascending through it.
It's spelled ETH. You can look it up.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yep.
Okay.
This letter was in use with the letter thorn, but then thorn eventually kind of overtook it before it was also phased out. It is still in use in Icelandic and also Faroese, which is a language spoken in
the Faroe Islands.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Which is also one of the lesser known Nordic countries, the Scandinavian countries. People don't think of the Faroese very often, but they do have a similar flag, and they're all of Scandinavian descent. It's kind of just off the northeastern coast of Scotland, in that general area, kind of between Norway, Denmark, and Scotland. It's one of those islands that was populated. There I go off on Scandinavian stuff. But what I like about ETH, it is actually used in Old Norse also. Odin, people stylize and say as Odin, Odin. It's actually Oethinn, and it's pronounced Othin.
There you go.
So,
this letter is also still used in the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet.
Okay.
To represent the voice dental fricative, which is
fricative.
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 Fricative. Yes.
Okay. I didn't listen to anything you said. I got lost after fricative. Okay.
It's a IPA symbol.
Okay.
Moving on.
Okay.
The next letter I have for you is Wyn.
Wyn, Wynn.
Yep.
Okay.
Which kind of looks like a lowercase p, but it's not as round.
No, it's kind of. That's an interesting. Look it up. Wyn, Wynn. I don't know how to describe it.
Yep. It was replaced with the letter W It was one of those trying to represent a sound in Old English that Latin didn't really have.
Okay.
So, but eventually it was just replaced by the W,
Because it makes a W.
which is literally 2-letter U's.
Yeah.
W.
How was win pronounced?
It made a W sound.
A what? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't know if it would be spelt correctly, but like Wales, in Old English was pronounced Huelas,
Could be.
and I'm likening that WYNN to that.
Could be. I would have to look that up. But
Okay,
the next letter I have for you is ash, which is the AE symbol.
I like this one.
Mm-hmm. In English, it's now a ligature, which is like when you have two characters that are written together as one
Okay.
to represent the Latin diphthong AE. Diphthong is two sounds
Okay.
put together in one,
Yeah. Okay.
usually like vowels.
Yep.
But it is also still a letter in Icelandic, Danish, Norwegian, and Faroese.
Yep.
And also it's an IPA symbol to represent the ah sound.
Yes. Old Norse, they had the Asir, so it's the Aesir. Asir is the type of gods.
Mm-hmm.
Odin was Asir, and they fought against the Vanir. And now I'm going off in
Keep it
another
together.
tear.
Okay. The last
So
letter we
ash.
have is Ethel, which is the OE combined, again, another Latin ligature to represent a Latin diphthong. This one is not as natural in American English. You see it a few times in different dialects, different different English dialects. But the French really use this a lot from Latin. So you have it with the French word oeuf, which means egg. There's that sound.
Is that where souffle comes from?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, that sound, yep.
Yeah.
That would be the Ethel.
Okay. Interesting. That one I know nothing about because it's French.
Well, there you go. It's not French, it's Latin.
Well,
but
right, but it's not the Old Norse that I can go off in little tangents about.
Yep.
Cool. I like this one. This topic is really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any others that I know you don't have any written down here, but are there any?
These are the main 5 that you see, or the most popular, the most common that people might be most familiar with. But no, there are many others.
Okay, yeah, because I personally have seen 4 of the 5 here.
Mm-hmm.
In my hobbies.
Yep. But yeah, there are many others. As English evolved, as it became Latinized, as it took from other languages, you pick up letters, you lose letters, you combine letters.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about that in the last episode. How English follows you into a dark alley, beats you up, and takes your words.
Yeah.
But
it takes your spelling too.
Takes your spelling. Yeah.
And your grammar and your vocabulary. It takes it all.
Everything. It leaves some of the punctuation behind, or not punctuation, pronunciation.
Yeah.
That
pronunciation gets
bastardized,
twisted slightly.
Yes.
And even then, you have the different dialects.
Yeah.
Which change things. But
why is it? Why did it do that so much?
Because the land was taken over by so many different groups, and then they in turn took over
England
so many
English,
different groups.
Not American English.
Mm-hmm.
British English, is that how you say that? How?
Well, the language is the same. Well, dialects are different, but
yeah, but so it was really, yeah, I guess with the warring and the expansion of borders and all that kind of stuff, is that really where?
Yeah,
and then how it took all of that.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Anglo-Saxons coming into England and taking over. They would use their language, but it combines with the languages that were in existence.
So kind of the Roman Latin mixing with Germanic.
That comes in Britain afterwards. Yep. And then they started trying to Latinize the language that was already in use. Mm-hmm. So on and so forth.
Which was what?
Which was like the Anglo-Saxon languages, Old English.
Old English.
With the Germanic influences.
Okay.
And I mean, from there you have the different political factors where you have English kind of trying to be a rival with French.
Well, and for the longest time, like William the Conqueror's time, we're talking 1010 AD, around somewhere around there, with the Anglo-Saxon conquest, or I'm sorry, the William the Conqueror's conquest, the Norman conquest of England. Mm-hmm. For a long time after that, the aristocrats only spoke French. Right. They didn't even speak English.
Right. So you had the different political structures going on that were influencing things. You had, I mean, There are a lot. We can't get
But
into
so
all
then-
of the different things that influence the development of the English language.
no, but maybe that's going to be another episode. But
Oh,
why?
okay.
I'm down for that. If you guys like that, let us know. I'm down for it. I love language too. Something Rachel and I can bond on is linguistics. But why don't we see a lot of Spanish influence in our words?
Spain.
Uh-huh.
It was a different developmental track because I mean you have Spanish and French are both romantic languages.
Yeah.
They had a kind of a similar developmental but then they branched off. They're in different areas. They had different languages around them that were influencing things.
Mm-hmm. Is it because of the Pyrenees mountain range that there's enough of that?
That was a factor.
Literally enough of a border.
Mm-hmm. But you have a lot of Arabic influence with the way that Spanish developed.
Yeah, Hispania was Muslim for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And then you have, I mean, the countries and the places that they conquered.
Okay.
You had the South American countries that their languages were absorbed into Spanish. And then when you have Spanish and English kind of coming together, there's
Spanglish.
There's so many different, I mean, you can't pinpoint this is exactly when this happened and why this happened, but you have factors that you can look into.
Okay. Well, this will have to be another topic. I would like to have this as another one.
Mm-hmm. So I know I came into English linguistics through Spanish linguistics. I took a Spanish linguistics class in college, and that was kind of my introduction to oh, you can study this?
Yeah.
And it's amazing and it's wonderful. So I know a little bit more about the development of the Spanish language than I do about English.
But I guess I've just kind of come across things here and there as I've nerded out on Viking history and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing how many root words came literally from the Vikings.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So
yeah,
we'll have to do this in another episode. But with that being said, what is our word of the day?
Today's word of the day is hacker, because I have been rewatching Leverage.
Okay, so hacker. So like computer hacker.
Computer hacker specifically. Yeah.
Okay. So what does that come from?
Well, the use of hacker to mean somebody who gains unauthorized access to computer records kind of developed around 1975.
That is earlier than what I thought.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed 75. I would have said maybe the 90s.
Yeah. Well, it's supposedly, according to etymonline.com, from a slightly earlier text slang in the sense of one who works like a hack at writing and experimenting with software.
Oh, interesting.
Or someone who enjoys computer programming like as a hobby.
So this is probably one of the newest words we've ever had on here.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Hacker was a surname in the early 13th century. But yeah, in this use of it, yeah, this is probably the newest word we've had on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there is some speculation over where exactly, if it's from, like a hack was somebody who would write like for a specific payment.
Okay.
Like for a journal or something, you would write one single piece, and you were a hack. You were writing to be paid. You weren't writing for the art of it.
Okay.
So there's that. There's also a hack coming from slang from MIT.
Okay.
Which would be used like as a prank. You would hack something.
Oh, and
like a life hack.
That's a more modern use of it now, especially in the 2020s here.
Yeah, so there are several different meanings that may have factored into this, but yeah, hacker, Leverage. Hacker. You should watch it. Have you started watching it yet?
No, I have not.
Get it on your list.
I've got oodles of other stuff that
I don't care. Bump Leverage to the top.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so that is hack. Thank you for that word of the day. And if you enjoyed the show, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. Share with your friends or someone who needs to learn some grammar. You can also sign up for Rachel's editing newsletter at rosedeanediting.com. It's ROSEDENE editing.com. And join us next week. What is next week's topic?
Titles.
Join us next week as we dive into titles. And remember, words are hard.
We're here to help.